Come here just to have church. We did not come here just to shout. We came here to be filled with the Holy Ghost. Oh! And we welcome you.
This I pray.
It's been called a pay-to-pray scam.
God's about to do something wonderful for you.
Truck driver Eric Elmore thought his donation would bring blessings.
I just thought it would improve my quality of life in my current life situation.
And did it?
No, it did not.
Elmore gave more than $3,000 to Manasseh Jordan, a self-proclaimed prophet who claims he can raise the dead.
They said that your mother that died a couple hours ago came back to life.
Now, Prophet Manasseh is preying on the faithful in Charlotte, offering prayers from the non-existent St. Mary's Prayer Center in return for donations. It's the same robocall that got him in trouble with the Federal Communications Commission in 2016.
There has been some money that has been delayed. In other words, you were supposed to receive it by now.
The calls promise riches and rewards
A financial reward.
if you give him money.
I want you to move quickly with the victory seed of $43, or that $143, the $243 seed, the $1,043 seed.
It was like all the things that were terrible in my life would come to an end.
This woman also gave money and then was hit up for more the next day.
The next day, yeah, every day.
I feel that my calling is to touch the people.
The so-called prophet did not respond to our multiple requests for comment. Records show he's been sued at least 20 times in federal court since 2013. One case accuses Jordan of calling a man 300 times.
It doesn't stop.
This science teacher says despite being on the no-call list, he's received 2 to 3 calls a week for the past year.
It's not fun when I'm sitting there at work and I get a phone call from something and it's another number.
At Christ Central Church in Charlotte,
Help our faith in hard times.
Pastor Howard Brown preaches faith is free.
It makes me sad that people will continue to make faith a commodity that can be sold for personal benefit. It's part of a bigger problem, a kind of false belief that you have to earn God's favor, that God has to be paid something, you have to do a certain work or a certain good thing in order for God to be good to you.
It's unclear how much money Prophet Manasseh is raking in, but records show he lives a luxury lifestyle, recently owning at least 2 waterfront properties in Florida worth over $1 million each.
I do feel like I've been cheated.
As for Elmore, the only thing he was rewarded with was regret. After giving money to Prophet Manasseh, he was in an accident and then lost his job. The money he gave, he now wishes he could get back.
The good Lord will judge him.
Matt Grant, Fox 46, Charlotte.
There have been at least 20 complaints against Jordan's ministry in North Carolina between 2013 to 2017. They were all for robocall violation.
Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I hope all is well with everyone. Well, the start of 2024 is in full effect. And while everyone is talking about Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe breaking the internet, Larry Reid is still throwing stones at Bishop TDJ, hoping one of them will finally knock him down. Now, if you haven't watched my prior TDJ versus Larry Reid videos, take a few minutes to play catch up. They aren't that long. Let's get into it. After posting videos and doing commentary from various gossip blogs, citing rumors and unfounded claims about Bishop Jake's gender preference, trying to link him to P Diddy more than he's actually connected to him, and playing on race issues, claiming that TD Jakes is backed by white people's money, Larry's latest stone is claiming that Bishop TD Jakes is a predatory groomer. But the people he claims TD Jakes groomed are all grown men, and were grown men during the time the alleged grooming took place. One of the men alleging predatory grooming at the hands of TD Jakes is the son of Larry Reid's mentor, Bernard Jordan. His name is Manasseh Jordan. According to Larry Reid, 2 of the men have not been named. Larry says he told them to file a police report and to get a lawyer and file a complaint for the predatory grooming. He says once they do that, he can and will talk about it. He claims that one of the men is only 10 years younger than TD Jakes. The only person speaking out at this point in time about the alleged grooming is Manasseh Jordan. On December 25th, Manasseh posted a video saying in 2024, saying that 2024 is the year of exposure, and people in power will no longer be able to use their power and influence to silence others. Now, in this video, he said that he isn't a victim, but he is someone who is speaking on behalf of victims. Now, I think it's also important for me to mention that in this video, he did not mention any names. Larry Reid was the one who came out and said that he was talking about Bishop TDJ's. But go ahead and take a listen to what he said about not being a victim.
I want to say to victims that might not have a platform or might feel like you're going to be judged, you can't say nothing, because this is what they try to tell you. You're going to be judged. You can't say nothing. You're sowing seed of tear. You know, God is the judge. Yeah, we know God is the judge, but God judges people also through legal systems. God judges people also through other people. There's a group of Christians, and we're here, and we believe in you, and we're here to support you. And if you've been feeling in your heart that you can't say nothing, now's the time for you to speak out. There's still a remnant group of Christians that are not worshiping celebrities. They're not worshiping how big someone's conference is, who they are, or their name, or their notoriety, but they believe in truth, and they're here for you. And I'm not a victim, but I'm someone that is speaking truth to help victims that have experienced this, to say, we see you. And there's a group of Christians, men and women of God, that are the true men and women of God, that are here to pray for you.
On December 29th, Manasseh posted another video where he alleges that there are 2 additional victims that have come to him and that they will be pressing charges. Now, just because someone files a claim against another person in the court system does not make it true, and it does not make the other person guilty. People file malicious lawsuits all the time. We are innocent until proven guilty. I just thought I'd make mention of that. But what's most interesting to me is that in this video, Manasseh is now claiming to be a victim. He claims that as a man, he was groomed and violated by this alleged predator, who we now know they are alleging to be Bishop TDJ. But take a listen to what he said on December 29th.
From the same predator that groomed me and that violated me as a man. They're going to be pressing charges. I know 2 of the victims which shared their story and went through very similar things that I went through with the same predator, are ready to press charges, and they said that they will press charges.
Now, again, we all know now that these alleged allegations are against Bishop TDJ, according to Larry Reid. Here's a bit of what Larry said.
To Manasseh's place, I wanted to verify that there had been predatory grooming like he had told me a long time ago. So I went there and I snapped pictures that I was not supposed to snap, and I'm glad that I took shots of it. One of the pictures that I grabbed, you actually can see the timestamp, and you can actually see where he says that I am thinking of you. Here we go. May the 26th, 2016, at 2:33 a.m. I looked at that picture. I said, this is like deja vu. Because that's the same thing Eddie did, flexing, and was in the exact same color shirt.
Now, during this live, Larry Reid tries to liken Manasseh Jordan to Michael Jackson. He even goes as far to say they even have the same initials. And then he tries to liken TDJ to Eddie Long. Take a listen here.
Let me tell you why. Because this is how I got it. I went where Manasseh was at the time. This wasn't recent. I went where Manasseh was at the time, and I wanted to see it. And, you know, Larry, y'all know, almost said it. Manasseh Jordan is a little bit Michael Jackson-ish. You know, he's very eccentric, and he talks real proper. I'm really, you know, he's like that. He's as white as you can get black, and so much like. And his initials is MJ, like Michael Jackson. He's a very different guy, and a prophet. Absolutely, he got the gift. I mean, you can't. I mean, he got the gift. And so he was like, "No, Larry, no, it's all right. I'll let you see it. You don't believe me? Yes, Manasseh, I believe you. To mention it, I'm going to need to have the proof." So I went where he was at the time, and his brother Aaron, which is Bishop Jordan's knee baby, he's the one right before Manasseh age. He works with Manasseh. So he had an old computer they brought out of storage, an old iMac. And he was like, "Larry, Manasseh is Michael Jackson. Larry, I have this. Oh, Larry, what is it, Michael?" "What?" Can you come over?
Now, this is important to me because I believe Larry is attempting to garner sympathy for Manasseh. He knows that a lot of folks have a soft spot for Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is beloved by the world. It just is what it is. It's one of those things. And many feel that Michael had a certain childlike innocence about him. Now, folks are already sympathetic towards Manasseh because of what he has allegedly gone through. But when Larry adds that layer of Michael Jackson on top of it, he's turning it up a notch. Now, he's trying to make this man appear more innocent than what he is, in my opinion. And by comparing T.D. Jakes to Eddie Long's, he's trying to make T.D. Jakes appear guilty of the allegations and as if he is what they are now referring to him as, a predatory groomer. But ironically, in reading the comments under various articles about Manasseh, folks actually compared him to Eddie Long. Others compared him to Little Richard, but I didn't see anyone compare him to Michael Jackson. Nope, that's just Larry Reid. Now, in this live, Larry also talked about a piece of damning evidence that he had against T.D. Jakes, aka receipts. And he shows a picture of an alleged text message that T.D. Jakes supposedly sent to Manasseh. And it says, "Thinking of you." The message is from May of 2016, allegedly. Now, it's sketchy to me for a few reasons. For number one, it says, on the top of the message, it says, "To Bishop T.D. Jakes." If it was from him, wouldn't it say "from Bishop T.D. Jakes"? So it appears to be, I don't know, an outgoing message. That's just a little sketchy to me. Another thing that stands out to me is that the folder for August 2016 is highlighted as if they are looking at messages from August of 2016. That's probably neither here nor there, but that's just something that it was an observation of mine. And I also need additional context. Is it a group message? Did Jakes even send the message? I honestly can't see him sending anyone a message of such little substance and spelling you, Y-O-U, as you, capital U. It just doesn't fall well with me. But let's say Bishop Jakes did send him that message. Could it be he was checking in on Manasseh because Manasseh was going through something? I found a lot of information about Manasseh Jordan, and for starters, he has been sued quite a bit in recent years. Perhaps T.D. Jakes was lending him his support because he actually had a judgment placed against him in April of 2016. He has also been accused of swindling folks out of their money, claiming he can heal the sick and even raise the dead for a fee, of course, claiming he has raised someone from the dead for $1,000. Federal court grants default judgment against prophet who's made millions from millions of robocalls. Now, this is a story by Scott Howland from April 29th, 2019. A federal judge has entered a default judgment against a self-identified prophet who was accused of profiting mightily from his use of robocalls in violation of federal telecommunication laws. Jeffrey Molitor filed a class action complaint in January 2016 in Cook County Circuit Court against Manasseh Jordan Ministries, a religious corporation in New York, and Yakim Manasseh Jordan. At the time, Molitor said he kept getting calls seeking money despite thousands of consumer complaints, an FCC citation, and multiple news articles decrying their practice. The complaint identified Jordan as a self-identified prophet who lives a lavish lifestyle that includes multi-million-dollar homes and Rolls-Royce cars. These expenditures are largely funded through seed faith money donated to his nonprofit corporation MJM and or his father's corporation Zoe Ministries. In a motion filed April 16th, Molitor and other named plaintiffs asked Judge Charles Norgel Sr. on the bench in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Illinois to enter default judgment, a request he granted in an April 26 filing. According to the plaintiff's motion, the defendants refused to participate in the litigation for nearly a year. On March 22nd, Norgel entered the entry of default, prompting the request for default judgment. Among the violations cited were 74 robocalls to Molitor, 138 calls to Laura de la Cabada, 118 to Steve Clark, and 36 to Ruth Mackey. The plaintiffs said they had evidence each call was made with an auto dialer and featured a pre-recorded message entitling them to $500 in statutory damages for each call, a total of $183,000, but also pointed to overwhelming evidence that defendants intentionally and repeatedly violated the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, justifying the awarding of $1,500 per call, or $549,000. And there's a lot more articles like that about Manasseh. I also found court documents. It's also alleged that Manasseh and his father weren't always on good terms. Now, those allegations came from Lipstick Alley. I'm reluctant to post the things that were said. A lot of the comments I read were very disturbing. But in Manasseh's own words, where there is a mouse, there are mice, right? But for now, we will hold off on getting into those discussions. Another thing I did was call those toll-free numbers, the numbers that were used to harass people. They're still up and running. Now, when you call, an animated voice comes on and it says your miracle number is 123. It gives you a random number. So once you enter your miracle number, music plays until a call center representative answers. When they answer, there's no God bless you, how are you? The representative answers and gets right to the money, saying, hello, thank you for calling Manasseh Jordan Ministries. How much would you like to donate today? I also tiptoed around one of his websites. Here's what the mission statement on the Prophet Manasseh website says. Our goal is simply to provide orphanages with the means and necessities to empower orphans through faith, education, and health to realize and transform hidden dreams and potentials into realities and success as they grow in their Christian faith. Through the support of the partners of Manasseh Jordan Ministries, together through love, we are reaching hurting humanity, sharing the gospel, and bringing forth new hope in their lives. Together, we are able to feed the hungry, clothe, shelter, and empower neglected children in need throughout the earth. God has given us a mandate to touch and transform children's lives. And together we rise with a fire of passion to be a catalyst in our generation to make a difference. Join us in our cause. Click the donation button. Now, I haven't seen any evidence of Manasseh working with an orphanage or orphan children. Have you? Could this be a vendetta fueled by resentment and greed? because Manasseh wasn't allowed into the Potter House ministry, and because they are disgruntled at the way TD Jakes handled the Carlton Pearson situation. Larry has said several times himself that when it comes to controversy, TD Jakes pulls his brand away. Now, if Manasseh Jordan is anything, it's definitely controversial. Could it be that TD Jakes disassociated himself and his brand from Manasseh because of this? In this live, Larry also discusses a luxury vehicle that Manasseh purchased for TD Jakes. So we're going to question a 2.5-word email, but not question why this man purchased another man a whole luxury vehicle. Please. Did Manasseh have an unhealthy or extreme obsession with TD Jakes? Could this be the reason Jakes pulled away? In the video that Manasseh posted to his Instagram account, he seemed more like a man who is out for blood, a person who is jealous and wants vengeance because he, in his mind, was threw away and not allowed into the Potter House ministry.
Always coming up. Why is everybody lying? So everybody's lying? Where there's a mouse, there's mice. And then it goes into the third stage. And the third stage is where they try to become intimate with you. And if you do not allow this, they drop you. They treat you like you're nothing. And they abandon that young male or that young woman. But from my experience, I can only speak from a young male point of view. They abandon that young male and they treat them like they're nothing. Some of the biggest monsters are right in front of your face. And they manipulate their pulpit to push their nasty agenda. And their followers are duplicitous to it. Hey, fam.
But who really groomed Manasseh? By his own admission, he's been in the business of ministry since the young ripe age of 8 years old. So again, who groomed who? Manasseh says while in his 20s, I'm quoting him, he got to be around some of the biggest men and women of God, and he got to witness things because he got to see them without their armor, end quote. So was he positioned around these men and women just to catch them in a vulnerable place? Maybe to catch something, anything on video to one day use it as extortion for a big payday. We know he loves to live a lavish lifestyle, and there's no limit to how low he will go to fund his lifestyle. Example, promising to raise your loved ones from the dead for $1,000, or just maybe taking to social media to make allegations against someone you called your spiritual daddy, and that same person rejected you in your mind when he didn't allow you into his ministry, which in your mind is nothing more than a money mill. You see, it always circle back to money for these folks. Take a listen here.
Come on now. Oh, no. Wrong one. Sorry. Sorry, wrong one again. This is the right one. Okay. $11.11, January the 1st. Let's do that 111. The angel number, it'll be 11 and 11, which is, whenever you see 1111, it's a sign that prosperity angels are present. And whenever you see the 1111, you should begin to be thankful for angels of prosperity that give you strategy. So that's what I want you to do right now. If you are enjoying this, I don't want you to be a freeloader, but I want you to take a moment, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and put your phone number in the memo section. And I'm going to tell you, right after I see some of these come in action, I'm going to tell you the reason why I said that Manasseh is owed money. I'm keeping it really real. Not just the predatory grooming thing that has put a distrust in him about his judgment when it comes to certain things. Not just because of the improper ask that Bishop TDJ asked of Manasseh, but because of what Manasseh did for Bishop TDJ under the auspices of being a son who wanted nothing but fathering from him and to prove to him that he did not want anything from him, that he was rich already. The only thing he wanted was to be accepted and affirmed as a son. And in my opinion, Bishop TDJ dangled in front of him maybe the opportunity of his stage. Now,
there's a lot of information and allegations floating around the internet about Larry Reid, Manasseh Jordan, and others in that camp. Now, if we're going to believe everything they have alleged about Bishop Jakes, then we've got to believe every allegations from the victims of Manasseh Jordan and Larry Reid. And if we're going to talk about predatory behavior in the church, we can talk about grooming because I believe it does exist. But in this situation, not so much, and that's just my opinion. But let's also talk about predatory profiting from the pulpit, the exploitation of the poor sitting right in your congregations by prophets and preachers, playing on their followers' emotions with promises of healing from cancer or raising their loved ones from the dead. But these healings and miracles are not free. $52, $1,000, $2,000, or even $300,000 will get you what you need. Or harassing phone calls from companies ran by the same predators that were so egregious, folks were actually sued in order to pay the victims more than $500,000. Harassing calls that were so bad, many took to social media to call Manasseh Jordan out. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it all and more. Let's talk about all of the real victims and real victimizers.
Come here just to have church. We did not come here just to shout.
Have you been following this story? I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comment section. As always, I am my sister's mirror. Talk soon. Bye.